After extensive research, I decided to try the Hawaiian baby Woodrose seeds. I ordered 20 grams of seeds, which turned out to be a lot more seeds than I had thought. Me and my friends B and S went fishing. B scraped the fuzz from the seeds, which is reported to cause nausea, and took 8 seeds. We returned to B's house, where we picked up a case of beer which we intended to drink if the experiment fizzled. We then went to S's house for the night, and me and S scraped 10 seeds each, ground them as best we could with forceps and a meat tenderizer, soaked them in cold water for about an hour and drank the water. B had reported only uncomfortable feelings, but no major effects. Within an hour, S and I began feeling quite tired and sick. I laid with my head down for about 30 minutes, half asleep. It was then that S decided to get his mom to take B home, and I walked to my house right up the road. As soon as I stood up, I began feeling very strange. I walked home in a thunderstorm, very slowly, stopping in my yard to have a cigarette. I went inside, said good night to my parents and went to my room. I went to my computer and played Mario for Super Nintendo on my emulator in slow motion, which was QT entertaining. I then watched David Letterman, who had Jackie Chan on the show, and burst out laughing for no apparent reason. After watching some TV, I noticed that when the screen briefly went black, looking out the windows was strange. I turned the TV off, leaving no lights on in the room, and watched the thunderstorm for an hour with a huge grin on my face. I did not experience any visuals really. I would describe it as a euphoriant rather than a hallucinogen. Overall, I would say it was very pleasant after the nausea wore off. I called S the next day and he said he had the same kind of experience. B only got sick. From this, I would recommend to anyone trying them for the first time to use a cold water extraction rather than chewing the seeds. And don't expect an acid trip, it is not acid, but it is a very interesting journey.